The ground shook again, and Jake Morrison felt his coffee cup slide across the desk. He grabbed it before it could fall and spill on the mining reports scattered everywhere. Outside his office window, the red sun of Kepler 442b was setting behind. The mountains, painting the sky in deep orange colors. Another tremor hit the building. This one was stronger than the last. Jake stood up and walked to the window. The mining colony looked peaceful from up here. Small white buildings lined the main street. Children played in the yards while their parents came home from work. Everything seemed normal, but Jake knew better. The digging had gone too deep this time. 3 days ago, the mining teams had broken through into chambers that should not exist. The rock samples showed the tunnels were not natural. Someone or something had built them long ago. Dr. Peter Collins, the colony's scientist, said the chambers were thousands of years old, maybe more. Then the creature had appeared. Jake's communication device buzzed. "Morrison here," he answered. "Sir, we have another problem." The voice belonged to Linda Hayes, his security chief. She sounded tired and scared. "The thing is moving again. It's heading toward the residential area." Jake closed his eyes. "How many people have we lost now?" 17 confirmed dead. 23 injured. Most families are in the community center, but some people refuse to leave their homes. The creature had killed 17 people in 3 days. Jake had seen the bodies. The damage was terrible. Claws that could cut through steel doors. Strength that could throw a grown man across a room. Speed that made it impossible to run away. "What do the experts say?" Jake asked. "The Beastmasters from Altair are coming. They should be here in an hour. Commander Krelthax sent word that they've never failed to tame a creature." Jake hoped that was true. The Altarian Beastmasters were famous across the galaxy. They had tamed the giant space whales near the Centauri system. They had controlled the shadow monsters of Grimm's world. If anyone could handle this creature, it was them, but Jake had watched the security videos. This was not like any animal he had ever seen. The creature was smart. It learned from each encounter. When the security team set traps, it avoided them. When they used new weapons, it found ways to counter them. It seemed to understand human tactics better than most humans did. The communication device buzzed again. "Sir, you need to see this." Jake walked quickly to the security center. Linda Hayes was waiting for him, standing in front of a wall of monitors. Each screen showed a different part of the colony. Most were empty now, but one screen showed the creature. It was enormous. 12 feet tall, covered in scales that changed color like oil on water. Its claws were longer than a man's hand. Its eyes glowed with a strange light that made Jake's skin crawl, but what bothered him most was how it moved. The creature walked through the empty streets like it owned them. It moved with purpose, not like a wild animal hunting for food. "Watch this," Linda said. She pressed a button and the video rewound. This is from 2 hours ago. On the screen, the creature stopped at a damaged power line. Sparks flew from broken cables. The creature looked at the damage for a long moment, then did something impossible. It used its claws to carefully fix the wiring. The sparks stopped. The lights came back on in that part of town. "It fixed our power grid," Linda said quietly. "Dr. Collins says it's done this 17 times in the past 3 days. Every time something breaks, the creature fixes it." Jake stared at the screen. "That doesn't make sense. Why would it repair our equipment?" "I don't know, sir, but there's more." Linda switched to another camera. "Look at this." The new video showed the creature standing near the water treatment plant. It was not attacking or destroying anything. It was just standing there, watching, like it was guarding the building. "It's been doing this since it first appeared," Linda explained. "It visits the power station, the water plant, and the communications array. Always the same 3 places. Always just watching." Dr. Collins entered the security center. His gray hair was messy, and his clothes were wrinkled. He had been working without sleep for 3 days, trying to understand the creature. "Any new theories, Doc?" Jake asked. Peter Collins rubbed his tired eyes. "I've been studying the attack patterns. The creature didn't hunt those 17 people. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Every death happened near critical infrastructure during repair work. What are you saying? I think the creature was trying to fix something important. The people who died were accidentally caught in some kind of energy discharge. The creature might not have meant to hurt them. Linda shook her head. That's impossible. You saw what it did to Martinez. It threw him through a wall. Martinez was shooting at it, Peter said. The creature was defending itself. But look at the Jenkins family. They hid in their basement when it passed by. It knew they were there, but it didn't hurt them. It just walked past. Jake thought about this. The Jenkins family had survived because they stayed hidden and quiet. The people who died had been running, screaming, or fighting. Maybe the creature only attacked when it felt threatened. Sir, Linda said, pointing at a monitor, it's moving again. The creature was walking down Main Street. Its heavy footsteps made the ground shake. Streetlights flickered as it passed. But it was not running or hunting. It was just walking like it was taking a stroll. Where is it going? Jake asked. The community center, Linda said. Where all the families are hiding. Jake felt his heart race. Get everyone ready. Full defensive positions. Sir, wait, Peter said. Look at how it's moving. It's not in attack mode. Its claws are retracted. Its tail is not thrashing. I think it's just curious. On the screen, the creature stopped in front of the community center. It stood there for a long moment, then made a sound. The sound was loud and deep, like a whale singing. But it was not angry or threatening. It sounded almost sad. It's calling, Peter said quietly, like it's trying to communicate. Inside the community center, people were terrified. Parents held their children close. Some people were crying, others were praying. But near the reinforced windows, 8-year-old Danny Fletcher was not afraid. Danny pressed his face against the glass, watching the creature. His parents, Kate and Ben Fletcher, tried to pull him away, but the boy would not move. Danny, get away from there, his mother whispered. Look at it, Mom, Danny said. It's not scary. It's lonely. The creature made another sound. This one was softer, more gentle. It looked directly at the window where Danny was standing. For a moment, boy and creature stared at each other. It's looking for something, Danny said. I can tell. The adults around him were too scared to listen. But Danny kept watching. The creature walked around the building once, then twice. It was not trying to get in. It was just checking to make sure everyone was safe. Then it walked away, disappearing into the darkness between the buildings. See? Danny said to his parents, it's not mean. It's just trying to help. But the adults were not convinced. They had seen the bodies. They had seen the destruction. They knew the creature was dangerous, even if it sometimes acted strange. Jake Morrison returned to his office as the Altarian transport ship appeared in the sky. The Beastmasters were arriving. Soon this nightmare would be over. The creature would be tamed or captured, and life could return to normal. But as he watched the ship land, Jake could not shake the feeling that they were making a terrible mistake. The creature was not just some wild animal. It was something more. Something that might be trying to help them, even if they were too scared to understand. The real test would come when the experts tried to tame it. Jake had a feeling the creature would not submit easily, and he was beginning to wonder if they should even try. The transport ship landed with a loud hiss of steam and metal. Jake Morrison watched from his office window as the ramp lowered. The Altarian Beastmasters stepped out like warriors from an old story. Master Krelthax led the group. He was 7 feet tall with green scales and yellow eyes that seemed to see everything. His team of 6 specialists carried equipment that looked more advanced than anything the colony had ever seen. Each Beastmaster wore armor that gleamed in the artificial lights. Jake met them at the landing pad. Master Krelthax, thank you for coming so quickly. The tall alien looked down at Jake with eyes that had seen centuries of dangerous creatures. Colony Administrator Morrison, we received your emergency message. Show us this creature that troubles you. Linda Hayes led the group to the security center. The Beastmasters examined the video footage with professional interest. They watched. The creature walked through the streets. They saw it fix the power lines. They observed it standing guard at the water treatment plant. Interesting, Master Krelthax said after watching for 10 minutes. This creature shows intelligence. Most beasts we tame are driven by simple instincts. This one thinks. Dr. Collins stepped forward. We believe it might be trying to communicate. The sounds it makes seem to have patterns. All creatures communicate, said Master Veltar, a female beastmaster with silver markings on her face. The question is whether it can be made to obey. Jake showed them the damage reports. 17 people dead. Property damage in the millions. We need this creature contained before it kills again. Master Krelthax nodded slowly. We have tamed star whales that could swallow your entire colony. We have controlled shadow stalkers that could phase through solid matter. This creature will submit to our methods. The Beastmasters spent an hour studying the creature's behavior patterns. They set up their equipment in the old warehouse district where the creature had been spotted most often. Their devices were unlike anything the colonists had seen before. These are sonic pacifiers, Master Krelthax explained to Jake and his team. They produce sound waves that disrupt the nervous system. Any creature exposed to them becomes calm and compliant. And if that doesn't work? Jake asked. We have backup methods, Master Veltar said. Pheromone dampeners, neural suppressors, containment fields. We have never encountered a creature that could resist all our techniques. The first attempt began at sunset. The Beastmasters positioned their sonic pacifiers around the area where the creature usually appeared. The devices hummed with power, creating invisible barriers of sound that would overwhelm any animal's senses. The creature appeared right on schedule. It walked into the area between the buildings, moving with its usual fluid grace. The sonic pacifiers activated all at once. The air filled with a sound so deep that humans could barely hear it, but it made their bones vibrate. The creature stopped. Walking, it stood perfectly still for 37 seconds. Jake held his breath, hoping the experts had succeeded. Then the creature tilted its head like a curious dog. It looked directly at the nearest sonic pacifier. With one quick movement of its tail, it smashed the device into pieces. Then it destroyed the second one, and the third. Within minutes, all 6 sonic pacifiers were broken. Impossible, Master, Krelthax whispered. Nothing has ever resisted the pacifiers, but the creature was not done. It looked toward the observation post where the Beastmasters were hidden. It made a sound that could only be described as laughter. Then it continued, walking as if nothing had happened. The sonic approach has failed, Master Veltar reported. Initiating pheromone protocol. The second attempt used chemical signals instead of sound. The Beastmasters released clouds of specially designed pheromones that should have triggered submission responses in any carbon-based life form. The chemicals were invisible but powerful, designed to make even the most aggressive creature become docile. The creature walked into the pheromone cloud. It stopped and sniffed the air. Then it did something that made Jake laugh despite the seriousness of the situation. The creature sneezed. One loud, wet sneeze that scattered the pheromone cloud in all directions. Then it kept walking, completely unaffected by chemicals that should have made it roll over and go to sleep. The pheromones are useless, Master Krelthax said. His voice was tight with frustration. This creature's biology is more complex than we anticipated. Dr. Collins watched the creature through binoculars. Look at how it moves. It's not ignoring your devices. It's studying them first, then deciding they're not a threat. Creatures do not study, Master Veltar said firmly. They react on instinct. This one doesn't, Peter said. It's learning from each encounter. It's getting smarter. The third attempt was the Beastmaster's most powerful weapon. Neural suppressors were devices that could overwhelm the brain of any living creature. They fired invisible beams of energy that disrupted neural pathways, making it impossible for any being to think clearly or resist commands. Stand back, Master Krelthax warned. Neural suppressors are dangerous to all intelligent life. Even we must keep our distance. The suppressors were positioned on rooftops surrounding the creature's path. When it appeared walking through the street with its usual confident stride, all 12 devices fired at once. The air shimmered with energy that human eyes could not. See, the creature stopped in the middle of the street. It swayed slightly, as if the neural beams were having some effect. Jake felt hope rising in his chest. Maybe this would work, but then the creature shook its head like someone waking up from a dream. It looked around until it spotted the nearest neural suppressor. Instead of being paralyzed by the device, it walked directly toward it, the creature. Climbed onto a building with movements that were smooth and careful. It reached the rooftop where the suppressor was mounted. The device was still firing, still sending waves of neural disruption at the creature's head. The creature looked down at the suppressor. It looked at the Beastmasters watching from their safe distance. Then it deliberately stepped on the device, crushing it under its massive foot while maintaining eye contact with Master Krelthax. "Retreat," Master Krelthax ordered. "All units fall back immediately." The creature destroyed 3 more suppressors before the Beastmasters could shut down the remaining devices. Each time it moved with the same deliberate care, as if it wanted to make sure everyone understood what it was doing. When all the neural suppressors were either destroyed or deactivated, the creature climbed down from the building. It walked to the center of the street and sat down. Not like an animal that had been defeated, but like a person who had finished a job and was taking a rest. Master Krelthax returned to the colony headquarters with his team. His proud posture was gone. His confidence had been shattered. "We cannot tame this creature," he admitted to Jake. "In 3 centuries of beast mastery, nothing has ever resisted all our methods." "What are you saying?" Jake asked. "I am saying that this creature is beyond our capabilities. It is not just intelligent. It is more intelligent than we assumed possible. Every technique we used, it countered within minutes. It understood our devices better than most trained technicians." Dr. Collins had been watching the final confrontation through telescopes. It wasn't just resisting your control. It was communicating. Every action was a response to your attempts. It was trying to tell you something. What could it possibly be trying to tell us? Linda Hayes asked. "That it cannot be controlled," Master Krelthax said. "That it will not be made to submit. That it is here by choice, not by chance." Jake looked at the security monitors. The creature was still sitting in the middle of the street, as calm as if it was waiting for something. "So what do we do now?" "We leave," Master Krelthax said. "We admit defeat and hope that the creature's intentions are not hostile. There's nothing more we can do." As the Beastmasters prepared to depart, young Danny Fletcher was still watching from the community center window. While the adults discussed failure and defeat, the boy had been observing something they had missed. "Mom," Danny said quietly too. His mother, "I think the creature is waiting for someone to talk to it properly." Kate Fletcher looked at her son with worried eyes. "What do you mean, honey?" "All those people tried to force it to do things. But nobody tried asking it nicely. Maybe it just wants someone to be polite." The adults were too busy planning their next move to listen to an 8-year-old boy, but Danny kept watching the creature. And the creature seemed to be watching the community center, as if it knew that someone inside understood what it really wanted. The most powerful beastmasters in the galaxy had failed completely. But maybe Danny thought they had been using the wrong approach from the very beginning. The community center had become a prison of fear. Families huddled together in small groups, whispering about what would happen now that the famous Beastmasters had failed. Some people talked about leaving the colony. Others suggested calling for military help. Everyone was scared. Danny Fletcher sat by the big window, drawing pictures in a notebook. While the adults argued and worried, he kept watching the creature. It was still sitting in the middle of the street, calm and patient. Sometimes it would look toward the community center, as if it knew people were watching. "Danny, come away!" From there, his father Ben said for the 10th time. "It's not safe." "It's okay, Dad," Danny replied without looking away. "It's not going to hurt anyone right now." Kate Fletcher sat down beside her son. How can you be so sure? Danny showed her his notebook. The pages were filled with drawings of the creature in different positions. I've been watching it for 3 days. See this picture? This is how it looks when it's working on the power lines. Its tail is straight and its claws are out, but look at this one. He flipped to another page. This is how it looks when people are around. Its tail is curved and its claws are hidden. His mother looked at the drawings. They were surprisingly detailed for an 8-year-old. You've been studying it? Everything it does means something, Danny explained. When it makes the low sound, it's checking to see if anyone is listening. When it makes the high sound, it's trying to warn people about danger. And when it sits like it's doing now, it's waiting. Ben Fletcher joined them at the window. Waiting for what? For someone to understand, Danny said simply, across the room. Jake Morrison was meeting with his senior staff. The situation was getting worse by the hour. More families wanted to evacuate. The mining operations had stopped completely. The colony was losing money and people every day the creature remained free. We need to consider military options, Linda Hayes said. If we can't tame it, maybe we can drive it away. Dr. Collins shook his head. Military action would be a mistake. We've seen what happens when people try to fight it. 17 people are dead because they saw it as a threat. It is a threat, Jake said, regardless of whether it means to be. But what? If it's not? Peter asked. What if we've been wrong about everything? Jake looked tired. He had not slept properly in 3 days. What are you suggesting, Doc? I've been studying the pattern of deaths, Peter said. Every person who died was either running away in panic or actively trying to attack the creature. But every person who stayed calm and still was ignored. The creature has had dozens of opportunities to kill more people, but it hasn't. Linda frowned. So you think it's selective about who it kills? I think it only kills when it feels threatened. Or when someone gets in the way of its work, Peter said. Look at the infrastructure repairs. The creature has fixed 17 major problems with our power grid, water system, and communication array. It's been taking care of us. Taking care of us? Jake asked. By killing our people? By accident? Peter insisted. I think those deaths were mistakes. The creature was trying to prevent a much bigger disaster. Jake rubbed his temples. Even if that's true, we can't just leave it alone. People are terrified. Maybe we should try talking to it, said a small voice. Everyone turned to see Danny Fletcher standing behind them. His parents were trying to pull him back, but the boy had slipped away from them. Danny, this is not a place for children, Jake said gently. But I know about the creature, Danny said. I've been watching it every day. It's not mean. It's just lonely and trying to help. Linda Hayes knelt down to Danny's level. What makes you think it's lonely? Danny looked serious, the way only children can when they're explaining something important to adults. It keeps calling out, but nobody answers. And it always comes back to the same places, like it's checking on them. My dog Max does the same thing when I'm at school. He goes to all the places where I usually play, looking for me. The adults exchanged glances. The boy's observation was simple but insightful. Even if that's true, Ben Fletcher said, we can't let you go near that thing. But what if I could help? Danny asked, what if I could talk to it? Absolutely not, Kate said firmly. It's too dangerous. Dr. Collins had been listening carefully. Danny, what makes you think you could talk to it when nobody else can? Danny thought for a moment. Because I'm not trying to make it do anything. I just want to understand what it wants. Jake looked at the boy, then at his parents, then at his staff. The idea was crazy, but they had run out of normal options. The Beastmasters had failed. Military action would probably result in more deaths. Maybe it was time to try something completely different. What exactly would you want to do? Jake asked. Danny's face lit up. I want to go outside and say hello, maybe bring it some food. My mom makes really good sandwiches. That's insane, Linda said. We can't send a child to face that creature. But the creature hasn't hurt any children, Peter pointed out. Oh, the victims were adults. And Danny's right about the behavioral patterns. The creature only reacts violently to perceived threats. Jake looked at Danny's parents. What do you think? Ben Fletcher was already shaking his head. No way, I'm not risking my son's life on a theory. But Dad, Danny said, what if I'm right? What if the creature just wants to be friends? Kate Fletcher looked at her son, then at the creature visible through the window. Danny, that thing is 12 feet tall with claws that can cut through steel. Even if it doesn't mean to hurt you, it could kill you by accident. But it hasn't hurt anyone by accident, Danny said. Only people who were scared or trying to fight. I'm not scared, and I don't want to fight. I just want to talk. Dr. Collins was studying the creature through binoculars. It's been sitting in the same spot for 4 hours. That's not normal behavior for a predator or even a lost animal. It's waiting for something. Maybe it's waiting for someone to be brave enough to approach it peacefully. Danny suggested. Jake felt the weight of command pressing down on him. Every decision he made affected the lives of 3,000 colonists. The safe choice was to evacuate everyone and call for military support. But the safe choice would also mean abandoning their home and probably getting more people killed. If we were to consider this, Jake said slowly, what precautions would we take? Full protective gear, Linda said immediately. Armed escorts at a distance, medical team on standby. Emergency evacuation plan. And I would monitor the creature's vital signs and behavior, Peter added. At the first sign of aggression, we abort. Danny looked hopeful. So I can try? His parents still looked terrified, but they could see the determination in their son's eyes. Kate knelt down and hugged Danny tightly. If we let you do this, you have to promise to be very, very careful. I promise, Mom. Then Fletcher sighed. I can't believe we're considering this. But if the experts can't handle it, maybe it's time to try something completely different. Jake made the decision that would change everything. We'll try it. But with every safety measure we can think of. And if anything goes wrong, anything at all, we pull you out immediately. Danny nodded eagerly. When can we start? Tomorrow morning, Jake said. We need tonight to prepare. As the adults began planning the most unusual first contact attempt. In colonial history, Danny returned to his spot by the window. The creature was still sitting in the street, patient and calm. It looked toward the community center, and for just a moment, Danny could have sworn it nodded at him. Tomorrow, Danny whispered to the creature through the glass. Tomorrow we'll finally talk. The creature made a soft sound that somehow seemed like agreement. Then it stood up and walked away into the growing darkness, leaving Danny with the feeling that something wonderful was about to happen. Danny Fletcher woke up before sunrise. He had slept badly, dreaming about the creature and what would happen when they met. His parents were already awake, sitting at the kitchen table with worried faces. Are you sure about this, honey? His? Mother Kate asked for the 100th time. Danny nodded as he ate his breakfast. I'm sure, Mom. The creature isn't mean. It just needs a friend. Ben Fletcher checked his son's safety gear one more time. The colony's engineers had worked all night to create a special suit for Danny. It was lightweight but strong, with sensors. That would monitor his vital signs and a communication device so he could talk to the adults watching from a distance. Remember the rules, his father said. If anyone tells you to come back, you come back immediately. No arguing. I remember, Dad. Jake Morrison arrived with Dr. Collins and Linda Hayes. They all looked nervous but determined. The plan they had developed was simple. Danny would walk slowly toward the creature carrying a lunch that his mother had packed. If the creature showed any signs of aggression, the boy would retreat immediately. The creature appeared at the usual spot 20 minutes ago, Linda reported. It's sitting in the same place as yesterday, just waiting. Dr. Collins was carrying equipment to monitor the creature's behavior. Its body temperature is normal. No signs of stress or agitation. If anything, it seems calmer than usual. Danny put on his safety suit and picked up the small backpack containing his lunch. Inside were 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, an apple, and a bottle of water. His mother had also packed an extra sandwich, just in case the creature was hungry. I'm ready, Danny said. The adults escorted him to the edge of the residential area. Beyond the last building, the main street stretched toward the center of town where the creature was waiting. Armed security guards took positions on nearby rooftops, though everyone hoped they would not be needed. "Remember, Danny," Jake said, "this creature is intelligent. Treat it with respect, but don't take any unnecessary risks." Danny nodded and started walking down the empty street. His footsteps echoed between the silent buildings. Behind him, the adults watched through telescopes and camera feeds, ready to intervene if anything went wrong. The creature saw him coming from 2 blocks away. It stood up slowly, its massive form casting a long shadow in the morning light. Danny could feel his heart beating faster, but he was not afraid. He had watched this creature for days, and he knew it was not evil. When Danny was 50 feet away, he stopped and sat down on the ground. This was part of the plan. By sitting down, he would show the creature that he was not a threat. He also wanted to appear smaller and less intimidating. "Hello," Danny said in a normal voice. "My name is Danny. I've been watching you for 3 days, and I think you've been taking care of our town." The creature tilted its massive head, studying the small human with obvious curiosity. Its glowing eyes seemed to focus on Danny's face. Then it made a low, rumbling sound that seemed almost like a question. "I brought you lunch," Danny continued, taking out one of the sandwiches. "My mom makes really good peanut butter and jelly. I don't know if you eat this kind of food, but I thought you might be hungry." He placed the sandwich on the ground halfway between them and took a bite of his own sandwich. "See, it's safe." The creature moved closer, each step careful and deliberate. Its claws were retracted, and its tail curved in the relaxed position that Danny had noticed in his drawings. When it reached the sandwich, it stopped and sniffed the air. "It's okay," Danny said encouragingly. "You can try it if you want." The creature reached down with one massive claw and delicately picked up the sandwich. It examined the food closely, then took a small bite. Its eyes widened slightly, and it made a sound that might have been approval. "You like it?" Danny asked, smiling. "Mom will be happy to hear that." Back at the observation post, the adults watched in amazement. Dr. Collins was recording everything, hardly believing what he was seeing. The creature's body language is completely peaceful, no signs of aggression at all. "It's actually eating the sandwich," Linda whispered. "I never thought I'd see anything like this." Danny finished his own sandwich and stood up slowly. The creature was still eating, but it watched his every movement. "The thing is," Danny said conversationally, "all the grown-ups are scared because they don't understand what you're trying to do. They think you want to hurt us, but I know you're just trying to help." The creature's eyes seemed to brighten, and it made a series of complex sounds that carried emotional undertones. To Danny, it sounded like relief and gratitude. "You've been fixing our power and water, haven't you?" Danny continued. "And watching over the important buildings to make sure they don't break. That's really nice of you." The creature nodded. It actually nodded just like a person would. This gesture was so human-like that it made Danny smile even wider. "But here's the problem," Danny said. "When people get scared, they do stupid things, like trying to fight you or run away screaming, and that makes you scared too, right? That's why some people got hurt." The creature's expression changed. It looked sad, almost guilty. It made a softer sound that seemed full of regret. "It's okay," Danny said gently. "I know you didn't mean to hurt anyone, but the grown-ups don't understand that yet. They need to know that you're friendly." The creature listened carefully to every word. Its intelligence was obvious in the way. It focused on Danny's face and responded to his tone of voice. "So I was thinking," Danny said, "maybe you could show them that you're not dangerous. Like when I tell my dog Max to sit, and he sits, and then people know he's a good dog." The creature tilted its head again, considering this idea. "Would you sit?" Danny asked, using the same calm tone he had heard dog trainers use in videos. "Just so everyone can see that you're being friendly?" For a moment, nothing happened. The creature looked at Danny, then toward the buildings where the adults were watching. Danny could see it thinking, weighing the request. Then, slowly and deliberately, the 12-foot-tall creature lowered itself into a sitting position. Its tail curled around its feet like a contented cat. Its claws remained retracted, and its posture was completely relaxed. "Good," Danny said, clapping his hands. "That's perfect. Now everyone can see that you're nice." At the observation post, jaws dropped. Master Krelfax and his beastmasters had failed completely, but an 8-year-old human child had convinced the creature to obey a simple command. "Incredible," Dr. Collins whispered. It understood exactly what the boy was asking for. "More than that," Jake said. "It chose to cooperate. This isn't submission, it's communication." Danny approached the sitting creature and carefully placed his hand on its massive leg. The scales felt warm and smooth, like polished stone. "Thank you for sitting," he said. "I know this is weird for you, but it really helps." The creature looked down at the small hand touching its leg. Then it made a sound that was unmistakably gentle and friendly. It lowered its great head until it was close to Danny's level. "Can I pet you?" Danny asked. "Like this?" He gently stroked the creature's neck. The scales changed color slightly, shifting to warmer hues. The creature made a deep, rumbling sound that vibrated through its whole body. It was clearly enjoying the contact. "You really are lonely, aren't you?" Danny said softly. "You've been trying to take care of everyone, but nobody understood. That must have been really hard." The creature's eyes seemed to glisten. It leaned into Danny's touch. Craving the gentle contact it had been denied for so long, Danny looked toward the observation post and waved. "It's okay," he called out. "You can come closer. It wants to be friends." The adults approached slowly, still amazed by what they had witnessed. The most dangerous creature on the planet was sitting calmly while an 8-year-old boy petted its neck like a giant house cat. "Danny," Jake said when they were close enough to speak normally, "I think you just made history." Danny grinned. "I think I just made a friend." 6 months had passed since Danny Fletcher first said hello to the creature that everyone now called the Keeper. The mining colony of Kepler 442b had changed completely. What started as a desperate situation had become something wonderful that nobody could have imagined. The Keeper still lived in the colony, but now it had a proper home. The colonists had built a large shelter near the center of town where the creature could rest comfortably. The shelter had high ceilings and was big enough for the Keeper to move around freely. Children often played nearby, and the Keeper would watch them with what could only be described as gentle amusement. Dr. Collins had spent months learning to communicate with the Keeper. The creature's language was complex, involving sounds, body movements, and even color changes in its scales. But Danny Fletcher remained the best translator. The boy seemed to understand the Keeper's emotions and intentions in ways that even scientists could not match. "The Keeper says the deep chambers are much bigger than we thought," Danny explained to the colony council during their weekly meeting. "There are machines down there that keep our whole planet safe from radiation from the red sun." Jake Morrison, who was still the colony administrator, shook his head in amazement. "So it was protecting us all along?" "That's right," Danny said. "When our mining broke some of the machines, dangerous energy started building up. The Keeper had to fix everything quickly, or the whole planet would have become too dangerous to live on." The 17 people who had died in those first 3 days had been tragic accidents. The Keeper had been working desperately to prevent a disaster that would have killed everyone on the planet. The energy discharges that killed those people were small compared to what would have happened if the ancient protection systems had failed completely. "And the Keeper has been alone down there for how long?" asked Linda Hayes, who had become much more relaxed since learning the truth about their giant friend. Danny listened to a series of sounds from the Keeper, who was resting just outside the council chamber. "It says about 8,000 years. Its people left it here to take care of the machines when they went away. 8,000 years of loneliness, watching over systems that protected a world where no one understood its purpose. The Keeper had maintained its duty faithfully, even when beings like humans arrived and started digging into the sacred spaces it was meant to guard. The colony had transformed from a simple mining operation into a research center. Scientists from across the galaxy came to study the ancient technology that the Keeper helped them understand. The machines in the deep chambers were more advanced than anything in current galactic civilization. The energy systems alone could revolutionize space travel, Dr. Collins explained to visitors. But we only study what the Keeper allows us to see. We've learned to respect its guardianship. The Keeper had become not just a protector but a teacher. It showed the humans how to improve their power generation, water purification, and communication systems. The colony now produced more energy than it needed and had the cleanest water in the sector, but the most remarkable change was in the relationship between the colonists and their unusual neighbor. Children who had once been terrified now played games with the Keeper. It would gently chase them around the town square, always careful never to move too fast or come too close. Its favorite game was hide and seek, though it was nearly impossible. For a 12-foot-tall creature to hide effectively, Danny Fletcher had become something of a celebrity. News organizations from across the galaxy wanted to interview the boy who had tamed the untamable. But Danny never liked that description. "I didn't tame anything," he always said. "I just made a friend." The boy had been given the official title of Interspecies Youth Ambassador, though he still went to regular school and helped his parents with their work. The Keeper would often walk Danny to school in the morning, a sight that had become so normal that people barely noticed anymore. "How did you know?" Dr. Collins asked Danny one afternoon as they sat in the town square. The Keeper was nearby, carefully tending to some flowers that the children had planted around its shelter. "How did you understand what it needed when none of us could?" Danny thought about this question. He had been asked it many times, but he still found it hard to explain. "I guess I just listened with my heart instead of my brain." "What do you mean?" "Grown-ups always think about what could go wrong," Danny said, "but I thought about what the Keeper might be feeling. If I was alone for thousands of years and nobody understood me, I would want someone to be nice to me." The Keeper looked up from its gardening and made a soft sound of agreement. Its scales shifted to warm golden colors, which Danny had learned meant it was happy. The colony had become a model for peaceful coexistence between species. Representatives from dozens of worlds visited to see how humans and the Keeper lived. Together, the Beastmasters Guild had even changed their training methods based on what happened on Kepler-442b. Master Krelthax had returned several times to study the new approach. "We spent centuries learning to control creatures through force," he admitted to Jake Morrison. "But this child showed us that understanding is more powerful than control." The Keeper had also helped solve mysteries about other ancient sites across the galaxy. Its people, called the Vorthak, had built protection systems on many worlds. Most of these sites had been abandoned or destroyed over the millennia, but some still had guardians waiting faithfully for someone to understand their purpose. "There are 17 other worlds with Keepers," Danny translated during one of their conversation sessions. "Our Keeper wants to send messages to them to let them know that some young races can be trusted." This led to the establishment of the Galactic Guardian Network, a communication system that connected isolated Keepers across the galaxy. For the first time in thousands of years, these ancient protectors could talk to each other and share information about their worlds. The mining operations had resumed, but under very different conditions. The Keeper guided the colonists to areas where digging was safe and showed them materials they could use without damaging important systems. The colony was now more profitable than ever, but in a way that respected the ancient technology it was built upon. Danny's parents, Kate and Ben Fletcher, had watched their son become a bridge between species. "I'm proud of you," his mother told him one evening as they watched the sunset together. "You saw something good when everyone else saw only danger." "The Keeper was never dangerous," Danny said. "It was just scared and lonely, like anyone would be." The Keeper had learned to speak some human words, though its voice was deep and difficult to understand. Its favorite word was friend, which it would say whenever children came to visit. Danny had taught it to say hello and thank you, though. It preferred to communicate in its own musical language. As the months passed, other colonies requested help with their own difficult situations. Danny and the Keeper became a team, traveling to worlds where conflict existed between humans and alien species. The boy's simple approach of treating others with kindness and respect had solved problems that diplomats and experts could not handle. The galaxy is a big place, Danny told the keeper one evening as they sat together watching the stars. There are probably lots of lonely people out there who just need a friend. The keeper made a sound that meant agreement and hope. Its scales shifted through colors that Danny had learned meant excitement about the future. The story of how a human child tamed the untamable had become legend. But those who lived on Kepler 442b knew the real truth. No one had been tamed. Instead, two very different beings had found friendship across the vast differences between their species, and sometimes, late at night when the red sun had set and the colony was quiet, people could hear the keeper singing. It was a song of gratitude and joy, a sound that had not been heard in the galaxy for 8,000 years. It was the song of a guardian who was no longer alone.